Complete trust in the Lord. My journey to faith didn't begin with a sudden bolt of light or a dramatic, life-altering event. It was more like the slow, steady dawning of a new day after a long, dark night. My life felt a lot like Judah's sin described in Jeremiah, a deep-seated mess, etched into the very core of my being. It wasn't just a surface-level problem, it was a part of me, a part of my identity. I had built my life on my own efforts, on the strength of my own plans and the fleeting approval of others. This felt like a pen of iron, carving my mistakes and my pride onto the table of my heart. My idolatry wasn't a golden calf, but the relentless worship of self, a constant striving to be good enough in my own eyes and the eyes of the world. The world was my Jerusalem, and I was its king. But the truth was, my kingdom was crumbling. I felt a growing sense of emptiness, a parched place in the wilderness, where no good things could take root. That emptiness led me to a crossroads, the one described so clearly in Jeremiah. I was standing on a precipice, staring down the two paths, the one of trusting in man, and the one of trusting in the Lord. For so long I had trusted in man, making my own strength my arm. The more I leaned on my own understanding, the more I felt like a heath in the desert, a barren, lifeless thing. I was a dried-up plant, unable to flourish even when the season promised growth. I saw others around me, people I knew and respected, who seemed to possess a quiet resilience I lacked. They were like the tree planted by the waters, their leaves remaining green even when my world was in a drought. I realized their strength wasn't their own. It was a source much deeper than themselves. I yearned for that kind of peace. The most humbling part of this journey was coming to terms with the truth that the heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked. I had always thought of myself as a good person, but deep down, I knew that was a lie I told myself to feel better. Jeremiah's words felt like a mirror, reflecting my own hypocrisy and hidden motives. It was a terrifying realization that I couldn't save myself and that my best intentions were tainted. But then I saw the rest of the verse. I, the Lord, search the heart. It was in that moment of surrender that I understood the full weight of grace. I didn't have to hide anymore. I could bring my brokenness to God and ask, as Jeremiah did, "Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved." I started to see my life not as something to be managed by me, but as something to be surrendered to the one who truly knows my heart. The final piece of this revelation came with the understanding of God's conditional promises. The Sabbath command, a call to rest and obey, became a metaphor for my life. For me, bearing a burden on the Sabbath was my constant hustle, my inability to rest in God's provision. I was always trying to earn my worth, never stopping to simply be. I realized that my own Jerusalem, the life I had built, was on the verge of being consumed by a fire I had kindled myself. But then I saw the other side of the promise, the potential for a new kind of life, a city that shall remain forever. It was a call to a new way of living, a life of obedience and trust, where my security wasn't in my work but in the faithfulness of God. And so, by faith, I began to receive this truth, that my sin was real, my self-reliance was a curse, my heart needed a new master, and my future depended not on my efforts, but on the grace of the one who was waiting to heal and save me.